Chapter 808, Magic of the Shrunken Heads. In Paleozoic world we were all so excited to see what the newest version of Jurassic Park is like since Isla Nublar was destroyed. This is gonna be so awesome. Lisa, indeed second elder brother. I am most excited to see what the fruits of our new theme park attraction has produced. Nico, me too Lisa. This is gonna be so awesome. Nico? We turned and we saw a friend from Nico's past. She was a blonde-haired girl with blue eyes and she had a beautiful sparkling red shirt and a blue dragonfly brooch and a blue skirt and blue shoes. Her name was Candy Delisle and she was 16 years old. Nico, Candy. They went and hugged. Me, another childhood friend Nico? Nico, actually this is my ex-girlfriend. This is Candy Delisle. Me, it's a pleasure to meet you Candy. Candy, you too JD. You are all an amazing force to be reckoned with. G1 smokescreen. So, you're not wanting to kill Nico? Candy, of course not. What makes you say that? Kowalski, apologies. Before me, Skipper, Rico, and Private met JD and the others. They met several ex-girlfriends and boyfriends who tried to kill them. Except Julie Yamamoto. To Julie Yamamoto, no offense. Julie why? None taken. Candy, I'm glad I'm not like that. Me, so you're here to visit Paleozoic world as well? Candy, I sure am. I heard so much about this place and I heard about what happened to Jurassic Park. Me, we had to relocate it after what happened to it. So we moved it all the way up here to Michigan. Candy, I'm glad you all did. My favorite adventure was when you killed Dr. Blight during Earth Week. Energon Scorponok, I remember that. Sky Warp, I still say you guys should have let me kill her. I mean, I had her in my crosshairs. Me, I know Sky Warp. But we can never forgive that anti-god monster for her crimes against the world. Lori J, not to mention that she killed my mother. Candy, I heard about that Lori. I'm so sorry that happened. Lori J, it's all right Candy. But thank you. May, it's a pleasure to meet you Candy. I'm May and I'm Nico's girlfriend. Candy, pleasure to meet you May. You do your best to take care of Nico okay? May, you have my word. Me, let's all explore shall we? Everyone cheered. We went around the park and we saw an amazing spectacle. We saw all kinds of magnificent creatures spanning from all over the entirety of life's history over the course of 700 million years. In Lake Cambrian we're in an aquarium and we saw an unbelievable sight. We saw the creatures from what the world was like from 541 to 485.4 million years ago. Most of the earth was all underwater back then and all of life was in the oceans. We saw all kinds of prehistoric crustaceans, fish, and sea plants. We saw lots of Cambrian crustaceans unlike anything we've ever seen before. It was a magnificent marvel. Next we went to Ordovician Lake and we were in another aquarium that showed what the creatures of the earth were like from 485.4 to 443.8 million years ago. We saw trilobites and more and we even saw prehistoric jellyfish. Next we went to Silurian Lake and we saw what the world was like from 443.8 to 419.2 million years ago. We saw the first ever sharks that ever swam the oceans from back then and it was a magnificent sight. We saw the first ever species of shark that started the shark evolutionary chain, Elagestolepes. This was the first ever species of shark that gave birth to one of nature's most powerful and strongest survivors. Next we were in Devonian Forest. It was a forest that showed what the earth was like 419.2 to 358.9 million years ago. We saw lots of different species of plants, fish, and insects. We saw awesome creatures and more. Next we were in Carboniferous Swamp and this was the most magnificent feature of all. We were in what the world was like back from 358.9 to 298.9 million years ago. It was a magnificent wonder to behold. We were in the Carboniferous coal swamps and it was a massive oxygen-rich environment. The oxygen levels were at 35% and the humidity was 100% and it was amazing. We saw huge insects, amazing plants, and more. Next we were in Permian Glade and this showed us what the world was like from 298.9 to 251.902 million years ago. It was a magnificent place and we saw dimetrodons, many creatures, and more. Next we were in Triassic Savannah and it showed us what the world was like from 251.902 to 201.3 million years ago. It showed us the first ever dinosaurs to walk the earth. We saw Herosaurus, Nothosaurus, Eoraptor, Phytosaurs, Silophysis, Massospondylus, and many species of dinosaurs from then. Next we were in Jurassic Mountains and it showed us what the world was like from 201.3 to 145 million years ago. Here we saw all kinds of amazing dinosaurs and there was a lot of them. We saw Apatosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Barosaurus, Mammonychosaurus, Diplodocus, Allosaurus, Stegosaurus, Kentrosaurus, Rhamphorhynchus, Amphicoelias, pterodactyls, and so much more. It was a prime example of the age of dinosaurs at its peak. Lastly was the Cretaceous Plains and it showed us what the world was like from 145 to 66 million years ago. We saw a massive plethora of dinosaurs from all over and saw all different types of dinosaurs. We saw Maiasaura, Corythosaurus, Parasaurolophus, Albertosaurus, Tarbosaurus, Triceratops, Protoceratops, Oviraptor, Tyrannosaurus, Carnotaurus, Tyrannosaurus, Iguanodon, Quetzalcoatlus, Eudimorphodon, Kronosaurus, Argentinosaurus, and many more. It was an awesome example of what the pinnacle of the age of the dinosaurs was like back millions of years ago. At the end we saw a video of what happened during the Chicxulub impact that wiped out all of the dinosaurs. A massive asteroid 6.5 miles wide slammed into the Yucatan Peninsula and destroyed all the dinosaurs. Massive amounts of debris rained down and all the plants died and the dinosaurs died. This park is even better than what it was before. Candy, it sure is. Nico, well JD, you have officially succeeded in making an awesome park. Chin, I learned so much about the world of dinosaurs. It was so awesome. I'm glad you all had so much fun. We have the habitats for the Tertiary and the Quaternary periods under construction. So we're gonna see what the world was like back during the times of cavemen and what they were like back then later. Lana, that would be so cool. Lisa, indeed Lana. I too am excited to see what Homo sapiens were like during the events of the Great Ice Age. Sid, same here. But this was all amazing. I love dinosaurs now as much as animals. I do too. Candy, it was so awesome going with you all. I'm a paleontologist in training and I'm learning so much about dinosaurs and all of prehistoric life. Nicole, we would make a great team. Candy. I'm a volcanologist, astronomer, paleobotanist, paleontologist, and geologist. Candy, wow. That's amazing Nicole. I would love to work with you. Nico, I'm glad. Candy. Paleozoic world was a huge success and it is gonna be very popular all over the world. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In the Jupiter prison it was time for another rant session with the most hated babysitter in the whole world, Icky Vicky. Chin, so who is Icky Vicky? Nico, you would absolutely despise her. Chin. She is the worst ever babysitter ever to walk the face of the earth. Nico went over the history of Icky Vicky. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. As revealed in Auber Catastrophe, Vicky first started babysitting Timmy Turner when he was 8 and she was 14. Timmy had found a flyer advertising Vicky's babysitting service, and panicked and called this number when his parents tricked him into thinking he was being left alone. When Vicky arrived, she convinced Timmy's parents that they could use a babysitter so they would have time for each other to go out and do adult things. From that point on, Vicky tormented Timmy whenever she babysat him, and his parents would continue to spend time away leaving him under Vicky's cruel care. Timmy became so miserable that he needed fairy godparents. With them, he was able to use magic to get even with Vicky. Even with his fairies, Timmy is still challenged by Vicky over the course of the show. She has also worked other non-babysitting jobs, usually if they involve hurting others or holding sharp objects. In most of her early appearance, the simple act of saying her name would cause thunder and lightning to flash in the sky. Vicky appears to have started babysitting at age 14 or possibly earlier. When she first met Timmy when he was 8, she was just as mean as she is now. It is never explained why Vicky is the way that she is, although several conflicting plots have been put forth. In the episode Snowbound, she reveals that she had a rough childhood. In Tiny Timmy, it is said that her niceness never showed up to work inside her brain. In Vicky Loses Her Icky, the cause of her evilness is attributed to an evil bug that crawled up her butt, although it is equally likely that the bug was a pure concentration of her evil personality. In the episode The Switch Glitch, after Timmy wished for Vicky to turn into a 5-year-old, she was actually nice but turned bad when she wanted revenge on Timmy for being a mean babysitter. It has also been suggested in fanon that her sister Tootie being born was the cause of her disliking younger kids, and although this has never been explicitly stated, although, in the episode The Masked Magician, Vicky lists Tootie first as she went through various enemies she had made in her life, as well as her own parents. Hanging in her house is a picture of an infant-aged Vicky is shown with the same evil scowl she has in her later life, so it's possible she was born this way. After Timmy Turner successfully defeated Vicky in the past and changed the bad future into a good one, 20 years passed by and Timmy is revealed to have 2 children, a son and a daughter. The children bear a resemblance to Vicky's little sister Tootie among other characters, meaning that these children would be Vicky's nephew and niece if Tootie married Timmy. Some fans even believe that Vicky herself could have been the mother, and even if so, it's possible that her children could have inherited genes from their grandmother. The 2 children are babysat by a robot that looks and acts like Vicky, so it is likely that Timmy has some connection with her in the future, or has at the very least reconciled with her. It is also possible, even implied in some of adult Timmy's dialogue, that because he forgot about his fairies in his later life, Timmy eventually assumed that it was his parents, and by extension Vicky, who helped shape him into becoming a responsible adult instead of his fairies. Therefore he believes that hiring a babysitter that resembles Vicky will help shape his own children into responsible adults too. Vicky's exact connection with the robot is unknown, but if she makes and designs these robots, she is likely very rich and successful like she always wanted to be. In the episode Vicky Gets Fired, Timmy's parents attend a cinema and leave Timmy alone with Vicky, but this time, Timmy, determined to prove Vicky is evil, shows his parents a video in which she tapes over their extremely important videotape, causing her to be fired. Vicky then attempts to seek a new line of employment, although she only succeeds in torturing others, resulting in her getting fired by all her bosses, both literally and figuratively. Eventually, she goes to the mayor and reveals to Chompy the goat that the mayor indulges himself in eating goat meat, causing the goat to chase him out of his office. Vicky then names herself the new mayor and takes over Dimm's Dale, rename it Vickyland and attacks it with his newly established ape army. Timmy, who is enjoying the time of his life with his god family, soon discovers that getting Vicky out of his life causes her to ruin everyone else's. Wanda proposes that they take fire-breathing battle rhinos and a lion cloth warrior to Vicky to depose her. However, they lose badly, and Timmy tries wishing that Vicky wasn't the mayor. Unfortunately, Vicky, not being mayor, becomes president of the USA instead and attacks the country with another armored ape army. Timmy tries unwishing the Vicky-dominated reality again, only for Vicky to become the Dark Empress of everything that breathes, and began attacking Earth with her Star Destroyer-like warship. To save the Earth, Timmy reluctantly wishes that Vicky was his babysitter again in order to maintain peace. Vicky was formerly a member of BRAT, Babysitters Raging Against Twerps, until she was rescued by Timmy Turner and felt grateful. Vicky tried to make a new life being Timmy's friend, but he rejected her favors and Vicky returned to her organization more abusive than ever, so much so that their companions named her their new leader. On another occasion, she joined and subsequently lead LOSERS. Composed of Crocker, Dark Laser, and Foop, and advised them on how to destroy Timmy once and for all, but, after Timmy wished that this 4 enemies wanted to be him, all members, including her, ended up destroying each other. Vicky subsequently left the team after their initial failure and ends up being replaced by Timmy's dad, who thought he was joining a sewing club. ******. Sheen was horrified. Sheen, Vicky is a monster. She should have been executed. Nico, Sheen, she's only 16 years old and killing a person at that age is totally barbaric unless they are pure evil to the core. Some people are the exception. Sheen, like who? Nico, there were 2 kids that did incredibly unspeakable crimes of pure evil. It's not my place to say, but these 2 kids were beyond all form of pure evil to the core. Sheen, that bad? Wow. Nico, I know. It's horrible. Sheen, but that is a good point. I can't wait until it's my turn to do a rant. Kevin Levin, get in line. I've been wanting to do one since I saw Ben do his rant. Nico, imitating Hades, echoing, let's get ready to, fire hair flares up, rumble. Kevin Levin, this is gonna be so fun. Kevin walked up to Icky Vicky's cell and he cleared his throat. Kevin Levin, takes a deep breath. The day I would have you as my babysitter is, yelling, the day when I shove your fucking tongue up your fucking butt and punch your teeth out of your mouth and shove them down your throat. You make me sick just looking at you. You make me want to hurl my guts out and throw up all over the sidewalk at the mere sight of your fucking face. You make even Vilgax's face look like a nice one compared to yours. Everyone cheered for him. Prisoner 1, yet. You tell that bitch Kevin. Prisoner 2, you show her. Sheen, that was awesome. Manboy, that was really well done. Kevin Levin, thanks guys. Sheen, my turn. Nico, she may look harmless on the outside. She has the face of an angel but the heart of a devil. She's a psychopathic maniac. Sheen, I'm going to enjoy this. Sheen walked up to Icky Vicky's cell. Sheen, takes a deep breath. You make me sick just looking at you, and I would rather lick a toilet that hasn't been flushed for thousands of years than look at your fucking ugly motherfucking fucked up face. You are nothing but a mistake that deserves to die. I wish you would just die. You sick motherfucking fucked up bitch. Everyone cheered for her. Nico, way to go Sheen. Prisoner 1, yeah you tell that bitch. Manboy, very impressive. Kevin Levin, you tell her Sheen. *****. Back at the estate, Nico, May, and Sheen were looking over which Goosebumps monster to go after as we were watching TV and reading books. Catwoman, Candy, you know that if you help us with our adventures, the bad guys are going to want to kill you. Candy, I'll take that chance. Lana, do you have any powers Candy? Candy, I sure do Lana. Watch. Candy held out her hand and to our shock and surprise we saw black licorice whips form and she slashed the wall with it. Me? Wow. Lola, that is amazing. Lainey, Candy powers? That is unusual but really cool. Candy, I can form any weapon out of candy. Me, that is so awesome. How did this happen to you? Candy, I was in an accident. Flashback. Candy, narrating. 2 years ago after I broke up with Nico and we became great friends, I was on a field trip to an experimental laboratory in Trenton, New Jersey. It was a really interesting laboratory. We were watching a matter transporter in action. It was the coolest thing ever. I saw them teleporting a jawbreaker from point A to point B. It was neat. They then called for a volunteer and I volunteered. I got into the transporter, but then there was a contamination source in it and it turned out that it was a few jelly beans someone left in the transporter and then they accidentally turned it on and I transported and felt strange. But when I emerged I looked normal. Everything looked alright. But then some bullies came and just as they were about to attack me I saw a jawbreaker fire out of my hand and it slammed into the bully's face with the power of a cannonball being shot out of a cannon. I gasped in shock and I somehow got strange candy powers. Flashback ends. Me. That is really amazing. Lisa. The candy confectionaries left in the matter transporter merged with your DNA structure and it appears to have given you the ability to utilize candy as a weapon. Candy. That's a very unusual power but it's a sweet one. Rimshot. We laughed at Candy's joke. Me. Laughs. Good one Candy. Luan. Laughs. That was funny. Eddie. Laughs. That was a good one. Candy. Thanks. Me. That is an awesome power. Princess Bubblegum has candy powers too and she can form anything sweet. Candy. That's so awesome. Me. It is. Nico. Boy, this is amazing Candy. You've been given a great gift as a result. May. But you have to remember that with great power comes great responsibility. Candy. I know. Nico saw the next target. Nico. I found our next target guys. Nico showed us our next target. How I got my shrunken head. Me. How I got my shrunken head. I remember that one. May. Me too. That's a cool one. I read the book and it was a rather interesting story. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. 12-year-old Mark Rowe loves playing Jungle King on his computer. Whenever he succeeds in the game, he screams Kalia, a phrase which popped in his head one day. While Mark is playing the game, a woman arrives at his front door. The woman introduces herself as Carolyn Hollings, the assistant of Mark's Aunt Benna. The woman brought with her a 100-year-old shrunken head, a gift from his Aunt Benna, an explorer. The head is from the jungles of Balladora, which Aunt Benna has been exploring for over 10 years. That night, when Mark goes to bed, he suddenly hears his name being whispered and believes it to be the head, but when he investigates, it's only Mark's sister, Jessica, playing tricks on him, jealous that he got the head and not her. Later that night, he thinks he sees the head levitate, and its eyes begin to glow. However, when he tries to tell his family, the head appears in a lifeless state. The next morning Mark learns from Mrs. Hollings that his Aunt Benna needs him in Balladora immediately. He is promptly flown there by airplane, and he's brought his shrunken head as well. Mark meets Carolyn's brother, Dr. Richard Hollings, and his daughter, Corrine. They inform Mark that his aunt has been missing for weeks, and they will only be able to find her if Mark can harness the jungle magic he possesses. It is explained to Mark that, when he was 4, Aunt Benna taught him the secret of jungle magic. Sadly, this was so long ago that Mark can't remember how to activate it. Mark walks into a room filled with shrunken heads and finds a journal from Aunt Benna. It reveals that Dr. Hollings and Carolyn are secretly plotting to use jungle magic to destroy the jungle in Balladora. Mark asks Corrine about what the journal said, but Corrine claims that she didn't know anything it, adding that she likes Aunt Benna. Mark believes Corrine and sets out into the jungle by himself, determined to find his aunt. Mark travels deep into the jungle. Eventually, the boy falls asleep, dreaming of dozens of shrunken heads surrounding him, telling him to hurry. When he wakes up, he sees that he is almost completely covered in red ants. He panics and screams Kalia, which makes the ants leave suddenly. Mark deduces that he unknowingly used jungle magic. As he ponders aloud, the shrunken head's eyes glow. After trekking further, Mark gets caught in quicksand. He tries the magic words again, but they don't free him. When he holds the shrunken head high, it lifts him up, out of the quicksand. Soon, Mark encounters a tiger. The animal is on the verge of attacking him, but Mark uses the magic words, causing the ground beneath him to open up. Mark is lowered enough to avoid the tiger. Corrine arrives and frees Mark from the hole. The two eventually find Aunt Benna, but she is suspicious of Corrine. However, Corrine reveals she was working with her father and Carolyn this whole time. Now, the evil trio knows where Mark and his aunt are. After locking up Mark and Aunt Benna for a while, the Hollings eventually bring the two to a pile of shrunken heads and a giant pot of boiling water. Dr. Hollings tries to intimidate them into telling him the secret of jungle magic. He threatens to shrink their heads if they don't tell him how to perform it. Mark tries to use his shrunken head to stop Dr. Hollings, but it gets knocked into the pile of heads. Aunt Benna starts to wrestle with Dr. Hollings, and Mark dives into the pile of heads. Mark manages to find the right one due to a scratch put on it by his sister, Jessica. Dr. Hollings tries to attack Mark, but, before he can, Mark recites the magic words while holding the shrunken head. This causes Dr. Hollings, Carolyn, and Kareen to shrink to the size of mice. The three panic and run off into the jungle, never to be seen again. Mark and Aunt Benna soon return home. While Benna has stripped Mark of his jungle magic, he gets to keep the shrunken head and plans to take it to school with him. Unexpectedly, the shrunken head opens its mouth and informs Mark that it wants to tell everyone about the tiger he encountered in the jungle. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Me, boy, that really infuriates me. Dr. Hollings, Carolyn, and Karen don't deserve to call themselves human. Nico, I know. They double-crossed Mark Rowe and it was despicable. Me, and it's all for wanting to use the secrets of jungle magic all for themselves. Brittany, that is really despicable. The secrets of jungle magic are too powerful for one to fully understand. Jackson Gerard, are we going to run into those shrunken heads? Brittany, I already have a shrunken head. Brittany pulled out a shrunken head. It was half the size of a regular human head. Jackson Gerard, so that's a shrunken head. Brittany, yep. Jillian Gerard, it sure is strange looking. Trudy, it sure is freaky. Stacy, no kidding. Brittany, for centuries, shrunken heads have been used by headhunters as trophies and to scare off their enemies. Lucy Loud, I read about all that. Shrunken heads are also said to hold many magical powers. Grim, Jamaican accent, I know. Shrunken heads are very interesting. Me, let's see where Mark Rowe is. I pulled up the computer and it showed that he's over in Borneo. Me, he's over in Borneo. Vince, then we have to get over there fast. Lola, but is there a Goosebumps monster in How I Got My Shrunken Head? Me, no. The villain is actually Dr. Hollings, Carolyn, and Kareen. But the computer is also picking up a dark orb in that area. Nico, there's a strong chance that Dr. Hollings may have found it and it returned them to normal. Me, then we have to get there. Let's fly. We were off to Borneo in Indonesia. We saw that candy can fly with wings made of bubblegum. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Borneo, Indonesia. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We arrived in the dense jungles of Borneo. It was a massive and beautiful rainforest. Me, Borneo, Indonesia. It's just as amazing and beautiful as I remember. Sheen, it sure is beautiful. But were you here before? Me, oh that's right, you don't know about this. We were on a massive worldwide adventure that Nicole took us on to look at the world's volcanoes. Nico, it was amazing, Sheen. Everyone told me so much about it. Sheen, well, that must have been an amazing trip. Me, it was. Let's go. We followed to where the dark orb was. We followed to where it was on my dark orb detector. When we got close we saw that it was in a long forgotten ancient jungle temple. It was left in the jungle to rot. Me, wow. Lainey, what an amazing temple. Me, it sure is breathtaking. Let's use the trees to hide. We did so. We hid in the trees and looked out for Dr. Hollings, Carolyn, and Kareen, and to our shock we saw them and that they were reverted back to normal size thanks to a dark orb embedded in his right arm. They had Mark Rowe tied up and right next to him, much to our shock, was Dark Samus reborn as a Heartless. Janine, I don't believe it. That's Dark Samus and she's a Heartless. Samus, how is that possible? Megan, it's the dark orb. She was brought back because of it. Tarzan, this is not good. We have to stop them and this Dark Samus Heartless. Me, I'm afraid so. This is gonna be a difficult battle. But we're gonna be ready. Lincoln, how are we gonna face them? Me, we need to come up with a plan. But first we need to get Mark out of there. Superman, Flash, get Mark out of there and bring him to us. Flash, you got it. Flash ran fast and got him out of there faster than anything, and he brought him over to us. Mark saw us. Mark, wow. Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Me, that's right, Mark. It's a pleasure to meet you. Mark, I love all your adventures. But we're not stopping Hollings now because... Nico, because we need to come up with a plan first. Me, trust me, Mark. We'll think of something. We went to a hidden cave in the jungle mountain that we were using as our base of operations for the time being. Me, okay guys. This is gonna be a tough one. We're gonna have to take the fight to another planet to avoid destroying the entire jungle. Lainey, that's a good idea. Janine, the presence of Dark Samus will bring incredible destruction to the jungle and burn everything. So we need to be extra careful. Nico, good thinking. That temple she's at is bound to have some kind of treasure inside it. Lincoln, it's bound to. Mark, there's a great treasure. The treasure of an ancient tribe here in Borneo. Me, okay. But before we fight Dr. Hollings, what can you tell us about him, Mark? Mark went over the history of Dr. Hollings. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. When Mark Rowe arrives on the island of Balladora with Carolyn Hollings to meet with his Aunt Benna, instead of being greeted by her, he is instead greeted by Carolyn's brother Dr. Hollings and his 12-year-old daughter Kareen. They inform Mark that his aunt has been missing for weeks and that they need the jungle magic that was bestowed on Mark to find her. It is revealed that Mark was bestowed the magic when he was 4 by Aunt Benna. However, Mark has no idea how to call upon it. Mark walks off, only to find a room filled with shrunken heads and Aunt Benna's journal. It reads that Dr. Hollings and Carolyn are actually evil, and if they were to discover the secret of jungle magic, it could destroy the entire jungle. He ends up running into Kareen, who claims she doesn't know anything about her dad being evil. Mark believes her, but goes off into the jungle to find his Aunt Benna. After several harrowing incidents in the jungle, he is eventually rescued by Kareen. The two find Aunt Benna, who is horrified to see Mark with Kareen, as it turns out that she was working with her father all along. And due to him saying Kalia in front of her, she now knows the magic words. However, they can't get the magic to work. They threaten to shrink Mark and Aunt Benna's heads. Mark attempts to use his shrunken head on them, but it gets knocked into a pile of shrunken heads. As Aunt Benna fights with Dr. Hollings, Mark dives into the pile, says the magic words, and causes Dr. Hollings, Carolyn, and Kareen to shrink to the size of mice and run off into the jungle, never to be seen again. In the television adaptation, the villains are still shrunk, but Mark manages to catch them and keep them in a lizard tank in his room where he takes care of them. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Me, he is a monster. Nico, he sure is. We need a really strong source of help. Then we heard a loud snake hiss. We then saw glowing red eyes appear in the darkness. We were surprised, but they were looking at Nico. Then an orange light appeared and it was an animal crystal. It landed in Nico's hand and it was a King Cobra Wild Zord. Me, a new Wild Zord? Nico, it's a King Cobra. Me, wow. A King Cobra Wild Zord? Lainey, that is so cool. Nico, it chose me to be its friend and master. Me, your first Wild Lord man. Way to go. I think this could be the help we need. Then a crystal saber appeared in a holster on Nico's left hip. Me, let's do this. Mark, hold on Aunt Benna. We went for Dr. Hollings. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. At the temple, Dr. Hollings was enraged. Me, Dr. Hollings. They saw us. Dr. Hollings, Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Carolyn, what are you all doing here? Me, what else? We're here to stop you. Samus, Hello Dark Samus. Long time no see. The Dark Samus Heartless was now called the Corruption Typhoon. Corruption Typhoon, so you have come. Megan, Dark Samus. I didn't expect to see you alive again. Corruption Typhoon, well, if it isn't the disgrace to the Dark Samus name. Megan, you took Janine's mom away from her and I will Nevada. Corruption Typhoon, grabs Megan by the throat, pathetic. And you call yourself my successor. You're not even as ruthless as I am. I punched her in the face and she let go. Me, you're a monster Dark Samus. Nico, and we have some special help. Nico put the King Cobra crystal into his saber. Nico, King Cobra Zord arise. The crystal saber glowed and it sang its tune and the King Cobra Zord appeared. It was a massive orange King Cobra with red eyes and it had a powerful energy. It hissed with extreme ferociousness at Dr. Halling. Me, that is so cool. Let's take this battle somewhere away from the jungle. I snapped my fingers and we were on the perilous swamp planet Ciagala. Planet Ciagala is a swamp planet located 85,000 light-years away from Earth on the opposite side of the galaxy. Ciagala is home to giant predatory plants, insects, and lots of danger. Lincoln? Wow. Lana, what planet is this? Me, this is the planet Ciagala. It's a swamp planet. Lainey, it sure looks like a dangerous place. Nico, I would not want to come here for vacation. Me, no one should. It's loaded with all kinds of predatory plants and insects. But let's get these monsters. We went at them. Megan fired a powerful blast of Phazon energy at Dark Samus's Heartless and it hit her and exploded. Crab ho 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 I am. Janine fired a massive blast of lightning and electrocuted her and Samus fired a hyper beam blast and it hit her and exploded. Crab ho 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 Gondre Da fired a massive blast of lightning and electrocuted Dark Samus's Heartless. Janine, let's finish this monster for good. Janine and Gondre Da fired a massive blast of lightning and Megan fired a massive blast of Phazon energy and Samus fired a massive hyper beam blast. Janine, Gondre Da, Megan, and Samus. Lightning Phazon Hyper Blast. The blasts combined and slammed into the Dark Samus Heartless and exploded with incredible power. Crab The explosion was so powerful and so devastating that it obliterated her in an instant. Dark Samus was then sent into the River of Fire for all eternity. Nico, Dark Samus, you have failed this universe. Sheen, who was that Nico? Nico, that was Dark Samus. She was created when Metroid Prime sucked out Samus's Phazon suit on the planet Talon 4 after Metroid Prime was defeated. Nico explained all about Dark Samus and how she was made and her history. After she defeated Metroid Prime, the Metroid Prime clung onto Samus's power suit and tore the Phazon suit off of her in a desperate move to save itself. After Samus leaves the planet, the DNA of Metroid Prime combines with the DNA of Samus and the Phazon suit in order to reincarnate itself as Dark Samus. Dark Samus serves as a central antagonist and final boss. She left planet Talon 4 and she traveled the universe in search of Phazon, driven by her instincts from Metroid Prime. Samus eventually found a planet named Aether, which had suffered a war with a dark dimension when strange dark creatures had invaded Aether and its native species, the Luminoth. Dark Samus traveled through Aether and found portals to a dark dimension which she entered, and to her delight, she found tons of Phazon from the meteor impact. Coming and going through the portals, Dark Samus ate all the Phazon she wanted, and grew in power, regenerating herself after her defeat on Talon 4. The Galactic Federation, who would later be her enemies, came to Aether and were attacked and killed by the Ing. Dark Samus later found her old nemesis, Samus Aran, come to Aether, in search of the troopers. Samus did not get far before she met Dark Samus, and Dark Samus lured her almost to death in Dark Aether, where the Ing attacked, but only barely missed the bounty hunter. So Dark Samus traversed Dark Ether for a while. Samus later met Dark Samus again when she was in the Argon Wastes. Dark Samus was feeding off of Phazon crystals, and Samus entered, unaware of who Dark Samus was. She soon learned she was the Metroid Prime when she used Phazon to attack. This became a fight to the death which Samus won. Dark Samus exploded into blue particles upon death, however it was just a maximum overload and she repaired herself. The particles reached the Torvus Bog, where she solidified and laughed at Samus before flying off. Dark Samus then returned in the Sanctuary Fortress, where she was seen sadistically laughing after gunning down some space pirates trying to protect their Phazon. Samus challenged her to an epic elevator battle, which Dark Samus became invisible after a while due to all the Phazon power. Later, rather than admit defeat, Dark Samus committed suicide by jumping off the elevator tower and falling into the city below. Dark Samus was unseen through the rest of Samus' adventure, but right at the end, she made a surprise return. Dark Samus returned and she was now skeletal, bereft of armor, and her organs resembled Metroid Primes, thus confirming who she truly was. Enraged, Dark Samus blocked off Samus' escape from Dark Ether by gliding and firing Phazon missiles at her. Samus noted that if she repelled them back at Dark Samus it would cause another overload. After enough hits, Dark Samus crashed to the ground and crawled towards Samus, trying to absorb her light suit, but she disintegrates and was believed destroyed in Dark Ether. Dark Samus serves as the main antagonist. Despite her disintegration, Dark Samus particles reformed in space around Ether. In Metroid Prime 3, Corruption, on the planet Fuzz, the source of all Phazon, she controls the Leviathan Seeds, living creatures that are spawned from Fuzz and contain rooms within their bodies, and carry massive amounts of Phazon. She plants a seed first into the pirate home world. Then, Dark Samus, along with the help of the space pirates, leads an attack on the Galactic Federation and manages to implant one of the gigantic seeds in the planet Bryo. Samus manages to stop one seed from crashing into Norion, a planet important to the Galactic Federation. Dark Samus appears then and hits Samus and her bounty hunter allies and implants Phazon within their bodies. Soon after, a seed is implanted into the planet, Elysia. The seeds begin to corrupt the planets and the forms of life, in Elysia's case. To destroy each of the Leviathan seeds, Samus enters them and must destroy a monster who is powered by the Phazon energy inside, probably inside a lung-like cavity. Every time she destroys a monster, the Phazon released begins to corrupt her even further. In the end, Dark Samus merges with Aurora Unit 313 to fight Samus, but is defeated, and is destroyed for good. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Sheen gasped in sheer horror. Sheen, that's horrifying. Janine, and Dark Samus is also the monster that murdered my mother Gondreda. Sheen gasped. Sheen, Janine, I'm so sorry. Janine, it's all right, Sheen. But I beat Dark Samus and not only avenged the millions of people she slaughtered but also got my mother back. Gondreda, that's right. I'm glad I have family. Samus, both of us are. Sheen, I'm happy for you all. Let's go help JD beat Dr. Hollings. Nico, right. Energon Skopanok, let's do it, boss. They joined the battle with us and Dr. Hollings. I punched Dr. Hollings in the face. Mark Rowe punched him in the face and knocked out some of his teeth. The King Cobra Zord fired a powerful blast of fire and it was hotter than that of the surface of the sun and it went at Carolyn and she and Kareen ducked behind a rock and the rock melted when the fire hit it. Kareen was punched in the face by Lainey. Lori punched Carolyn in the mouth and knocked out some of her teeth. Lori, you literally disgust me, Carolyn. We won't let you use the power of jungle magic for your own selfish actions. Carolyn, I will use it and you won't stop me. Me, we all will and you will pay for your crimes. Nico, Dr. Richard Hollins, you have failed this world and universe. Me, let's finish them. Sheen, I've always wanted to try this. Animatron Cyber Key Power. The animatron cyber planet key went into her right arm device and it enhanced her powers 100-fold. G1 smokescreen. Let's do it. Cyber key power. The Autobot cyber planet key went into his back and it enhanced his missiles and electro-disruptor rifle 100-fold. Sheen and G1 smokescreen. Lightning firestorm burn cloud. G1 smokescreen fired a massive blast of lightning and Sheen fired a massive blast of fire and the blasts combined and turned into a burning fiery cloud that burned Carolyn and Dr. Hollins on contact and it was impossible to see through it. Catwoman. Time for some cat power. Animatron cyber key power. The animatron cyber planet key went into Catwoman's right arm device and it enhanced her cat abilities and strength 100-fold. Energon Scorponok. Time to sting you. Cyber key power. The animatron cyber planet key went into Energon Scorponok's back and it enhanced his flip-out laser cannon crane arm 100-fold. Catwoman and Energon Scorponok. Cat claw scorpion blast slash. Catwoman slashed Carolyn with her claws and speed and Energon Scorponok fired a powerful laser cannon and it hit the ground and exploded with amazing power. Crab The blasts knocked her out. Kareem began to realize that everything her father and her mother said was all bullshit and that she was used as a pawn in her parents' own diabolical plots to destroy her life. Kareem then punched her father in the face. Pow. Dr. Hollins. What do you think you're doing, Kareem? Kareem, I will not follow you anymore, father. You used me for the last time. Lainey, I did not see that coming. Kareem, let us handle this. Kareem, okay. Me, let's do this. Tarzan, with pleasure. Jungle Gorilla Death Punch. Tarzan unleashed a massive ferocious flurry of punches with the strength of 100 gorillas onto Dr. Hollins. Brittany, this is for messing with magic. Destroyer Black Crystal Shard Storm. Brittany chanted an incantation and a massive barrage of black crystal shards fired at him and exploded. Crab Bohuam. Crab Bohuayam. Mark, this is for my aunt and my family. Jungle Predator Spirit Strike. Mark Rowe fired a blast of energy and it turned into the most powerful predatory animals in the animal kingdom. They went at him and roared ferociously and they hit him and exploded. Crab Bohuam. Dr. Hollins was weak and was almost down. Dr. Hollins, you haven't beaten me yet. I have my secret weapon. He walked up to me and I was shocked at what he was about to do. Dr. Hollins, Cali Maa. Cali Maa. Cali Maa. He plunged his hand into my chest and ripped out my beating heart. Dr. Hollins, holds my heart, I believe this is how you killed some of your enemies. Not so fun now that you're on the receiving end, is it? I laughed in sheer amusement. Me, nice try, Dr. Hollins. My heart grew back and my chest closed. Dr. Hollins, but that's impossible. You should have died. Me, I'm immortal and invincible. I can't die and my organs regenerate. Brittany, pay close attention. This is how you rip out someone's heart. Brittany plunged her hand into Dr. Hollins' chest and ripped out his beating heart. Mark Rowe, yet. Eat that, you jackass. With only seconds to live, I gave Dr. Hollins his final goodbye gift. Me, Dr. Richard Hollins, prepare to meet Kelly, in hell. Boom. My heart in Dr. Hollins' hand exploded with the power of a 400 kiloton nuclear blast. Crab. The explosion completely obliterated Dr. Hollins in an instant. There was nothing left on him. I had everyone protected in a force field. Dr. Hollins was then sent into the river of fire for all eternity. We went back to Earth and we rescued Mark's aunt and we went back home after getting the treasure. The treasure was a massive amount of gold, jewels and more, and we had a bunch of shrunken heads as souvenirs. Nico also caught a mean Shao and Drudigan. Mark, to the viewers, never mess with the laws of the jungle or else you will answer to me and Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Me, you said it, Mark. Well done today though. Mark. Thanks JD. It was awesome helping you. Me? No problem. Mark was inducted into the Goosebumps Monster Busters. Because Kareen helped us in the end, she redeemed herself and was made an honorary member of the Goosebumps Monster Busters and the Redemption Squad both. Carolyn was sentenced to 232 years in the Jupiter prison. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Later that night Lainey decided to try and write a book. She found one in her bookshelf that wasn't there before. Lainey, I don't remember this book being here. But she found an awesome story to write about. It was about an awesome magician. She got to writing and it was an awesome story. By the lake I was relaxing when suddenly I saw a cute mouse with wings and it had swirly eyes. Me? Oh, you are a cute little guy. I then sensed a claw card. Me? I sense a claw card. Suddenly I saw numerous creatures being created. Me? Wow. These creatures are amazing. Kuro, this is the work of the create card. Me? The create card? That sounds like an interesting one. What does that one do? Kuro, it comes in the form of a book. Someone writes it down and it becomes real. Me? Does it come from that person's imagination? Kuro, no, they get written in a story. Me? Sounds like a kind of card perfect for an author. Kuro, which would be fine if someone doesn't write too much. But somehow the create book has managed to connect up with someone who has a pretty fantastic imagination and isn't afraid to use it. Me? I bet I know who it is. Lainey. I went into Lainey's room and saw her writing in the create card. Me? Lainey. That book you have is a claw card. Lainey? Really? Which one is it? Kuro, it's the create card. It has the power to bring anything you write in it to life. Me, but it works when it's written in a story. You have an amazing knack of creativity. Lainey, I had no idea. But this is cool. Me, allow me. Return to your power confined. I held out my hand and an energy card appeared and it sucked in the create card and turned it back into a claw card. It was the create card. The create card's physical manifestation takes the form of a narrow book with a brown spine and dark orange front and back. A prominent green and brown star-shaped symbol with 8 points fills the cover while a noticeably smaller one is centered on the back. Create's composition is similar to an ordinary Japanese book in that it is read and written from right to left and top to bottom. Me, that was a neat catch. Lainey, that was cool though. Kuro, it sure was. You have an amazing imagination, Lainey. Lainey, thanks Kuro. We then went to bed after. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction complete and another Goosebumps villain bites the dust. How I got my shrunken head was a strange story for the Goosebumps books. But it was a cool one. I got the idea for Dr. Holland's using that ritual on me from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That was such a cool scene. I figured it would be perfect for this one. Nico-chan11 gave me the ideas for this one. Thanks man as usual. The next card we're facing is the Dream card and that one is gonna be interesting because of its power over dreams. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time.